welcome to episode 109 of the Just Passing Through podcast, the first one that is international. We are in Belgium and it is the 3rd of August. It is, let me see, it's 5:30 in the morning. Now for them watching on YouTube, I'm just turning. You can see outside there, it is pissing it down. And it's been raining for quite the while here in Belgium. We've not had a full sunny day for the entire 9 days that we've been here. But when it is nice, it's nice. I am in a small suburb of Antwerp, just south of the city centre, called Mortsel. Now, we came here just over a week ago, and I think I've forgotten how to travel. The muscle memory has gone with this travel because I've not done it for 4 years now. This is the first time I've been out of the country in 4 years. And I've just forgot how to do it. If we forget about the flight over from Japan, the kids are old enough now. I did it by myself. They're 10 and 12 now, so they don't need the hands-on support that I used to give them when they were kids. So that were a lot easier. And I thought, hey, I've got a bit of an handle on it now. I'm fine with it. So I stopped in Singapore, had a day in Singapore, and then that following morning flew to Dubai, had an hour and a half in Dubai, and then off to Manchester. Got to Manchester, spent the night in Manchester, bit rough, and then home to my dad. I spent a couple of nights in Bradford, and then we got in the car and headed down south to Dover. Got across the ferry. Now before that, because I'm always getting up early doors every morning, and with the jet lag kicking in, I were up at 4 o'clock that morning. Did some exercise, did some stretching, got the kettlebells. My dad and the kids are still in bed in the hotel. And then I got everything together, I packed. Now, I'm traveling with my 82-year-old dad and my 10-year-old kid and my 12-year-old kid. So there is a gap of 72 years between the oldest and the youngest person on this trip. 72 years. And it's a massive gap, as you can imagine. My dad's not as good on his feet as he was. I mean, at 82, we've got to slow it down a bit. And Jean is just nothing but a ball of energy. So that needs to be balanced. Now, the thing about traveling is with a pensioner. My dad has gotten really nervous about everything. Very, very nervous about everything. And I am probably I am the most experienced traveller that he knows. So I've done this shit in dangerous countries, in tropical countries, in the desert, in the tundra, where it's cold. I've travelled to many countries and I've dealt with many situations that were good and bad. But my dad, and I think pensioners as a whole, just seem to go straight to the worst case scenario, which my dad has been doing. But as we've been in these blocks, what he's been worrying about and got past them is got more and more confident with it. But the first bump in the road was, I'd got all the cases packed. Everybody was still asleep in the hotel. I got all the cases packed, packed the car. I got my tickets for the ferry, and then I got the passports out. Now, what I had to do in Bradford before we set off for the ferry is enter everybody's passport details, names, passport numbers, nationalities. Obviously, me and my dad are British. The kids have got Japanese passports. So I had to enter all that stuff. 4 passports. I've got my little passport bag, which I put all 4 passports in, and I put it on the side before I put it in my case. Got down to Dover. Everything's packed. I've got my little hand luggage with the passports in. Opened it up, counted the passports. 1, 2, 3. I've only got 3 passports. And the one that we're missing were my dad's. Now it's 4 o'clock in the morning. The ferry goes at 6. We've just driven just short of 450 mile. No, what 450 mile? About 350 mile to Dover. I put the case in the car. I'd ripped the car apart, seeing if my dad's passport's in the glove compartment. Not there. Is it under the mat where he was sitting? Not there. I'm going back into the room. I'm looking all over the room in the hotel. Could not find his passport anywhere. So then all the electricity in my brain is popping off, thinking, my dad's seen me put all these passport details into the computer. He then thinks, oh, I don't need my passport anymore. I'll put it back in safe at home. But I didn't know this, and I didn't want to wake him up because it was an hour too early. So it gets to 5 o'clock. I give him a check, and they all getting ready to listen to me because he's got to put an hearing aids in. He saw the panic on my face. I says, where's your passport? So once he switches hearing aids on, he says, where's your passport? And he's got this little bum bag. So he reached at the side of his bed, he opened it up and he showed me his passport. I says, what the hell is your passport? Why did you take your passport out of there? So I just keep it on me. So then I've gone to worst case scenario, just like he had. So I've got to watch myself there. Anyway, get on the ferry. Now, this is the first time I have travelled. I've been flying into the country. I've always got to get in the Japan line because I've got the kids. But this is the first time I've left the country overland since Brexit has happened. I came before Brexit had been voted in, but we'd not left Europe yet, and now we've left Europe. Now, back in 2001, 2002, to finance my trip, my first world trip, I used to take my car from Bradford, drive down to Dover, get on a ferry to Belgium, drive across Belgium to Luxembourg, and I would fill up the car with cigarettes. Regal, B&H, Embassy No. 1s. I would then leave Luxembourg, drive all the way through Belgium, on the ferry, and back home to Bradford. So I'd leave on the Friday night, get back on the Sunday afternoon, and I would have all those cigarettes sold by Sunday night. And then all that profit would be banked. And I did that about 4 or 5 times, and that paid for my trip. Now, I would get down to Dover, get in a line to get on a ferry, show me ticket, and I was straight on and straight away. The whole thing took 20 minutes tops. If there were a ferry there and you'd arrived early or arrived late, the fella would just go, right, go. And you'd go straight on the ferry, drive straight on, and you'd be away. Now, it's horrific. You've got to go through French passport control, British passport control. You have then got to drive around to get everything else checked again. So there's 3 checks of your passport. And then you queue up for the ferry. That whole process took us 90 minutes. Now, we arrived 90 minutes before because that's what it told us. But we joined at the back of the queue. And you go through, and I'm saying to me, we're going to miss this ferry. We're going to miss this ferry. Because we were late, and the next one were about 9:30, and this was 6 o'clock. But luckily, because it's the UK, the ferry were late. So we got on it and it left about 20 minutes late. But the whole thing took 90 minutes, maybe a bit longer. And when I did this 20 years ago, it were 20 minutes tops. So that's changed. And I don't know what it's going to be like coming back. So going from the experience that we had coming here, I think we're going to set off a little bit earlier to get back to France. Anyway, we get across. Again, traveling with a pensioner, traveling with the kids. The kids have travelled more than my dad already. Even since we've had this 4 years off, my kids have been to far more many countries than my dad. So we get across. My dad has been worried about driving on the wrong side of the road in a left-hand drive. Within 5 minutes of being in France, that's gone. So all these things are falling away. Now we get through to Mortsel. My dad, I've got my smartphone. I downloaded an online map, so I knew where I was going. So I've got my phone there. My dad has got this RAC sat-nav that only works if you put a postcode in. Now, it's from the UK, so if you're putting Belgian postcodes in, it's not going to work. So he put in Mortsel. And I said, Dad, just switch it off. Just switch it off. So we switched it off, and I'm using my smartphone, this thing here, using the offline maps, and it's getting me there, here, there, and everywhere. About 2 miles before the turn off, my dad switches it on. And this were my fault as much as it were his. Definitely my fault as much as it were his. And it switches on, and the first thing it said, well, at the next exit, take the next exit. So these exits were quite close to each other. So I took the next exit. And for the next hour, I was trying for 1 hour to get back onto the motorway because I'd listened to my dad's sat-nav rather than my phone. There were roadworks, it sent us the wrong way, we could not get back on that motorway. I was going through the roof, but I was keeping it all in. When you are in spitting distance of where you're supposed to go, and you've taken the exit before, and that decision has added an extra hour to your journey. So then I'm trying to recalibrate my phone. I pressed something that got rid of the offline map that I'd downloaded, and I didn't know where I was going. I had no idea where I was going. So I eventually got to the neighbourhood of Mortsel, and I had to go into a pizza hut. And I said to the fella, look, I want to go here. Where am I? He said, oh, you're not far. So there's an AGFA film processing factory. Go down there, take your third left, and that's the road that you want. So that's what I did. And I ended up here in this Antwerp townhouse. Now, from the front, like with most Belgian and Dutch homes, from the front, it just looks like nothing. But the fella that owns the house lives next door. He's bought 2 houses. He's younger than me. I bet he's in his mid to late 30s. So he's got 2 houses and he's a carpenter. This is his main house. The neighbours that live next door, they moved. And he bought that house as well. So he's living in that house. He's done this one up and he's living in that one up and he's doing that one up while he lives there. So we got here, got settled, and weather. Big issue is the weather. At the moment in Europe, the Gulf Stream is just cutting Europe in half. So everybody below, let's say, southern Germany is basking in heat. Everybody on that line or north of it is getting pissed on. So it's 5:30 in the morning. Day is breaking as I look out now. But it's grey sky and it's pissing it down. And it is, let me have a look, 15 degrees. 15 degrees. The highest it's been here since we've been here has been 23. And it's August. Now, you'd think 23, comfortable tonight. But something's going on in Belgium. Something's going on because it was 13 degrees last night. We've been here 8 nights. Last night was my 8th night here. But there's a mosquito problem in this house. Now, if you look, I'm putting myself closer to the camera for them watching on YouTube. Look at that eye. See it? I got stung on my eye by a mosquito at 2 o'clock this morning, 2:30. And that has been happening every fucking day. I'm in Belgium. It's between 13 and 17 degrees at night. Belgium's not a tropical country. It's pissing it down. It's pissing it down. But every fucking morning, I am getting bitten the fuck out of by mosquitoes. So for the last 2 nights, I've put a mosquito net up. I've got a mosquito net because we're going somewhere tropical after Belgium. So I've got a mosquito net that I've put up. The first night, so I've been doing that for 2 nights. The first night, I killed fucking 3 mosquitoes that were inside the mosquito net that woke me up at 4:30. This morning, 2:30. I mean, there's 2 of them that have got in. They've stung my eye. My eye was shut this morning when I woke up. It was shut. The swelling's going down now, but you can see the eyelid completely fucked. Yeah, so I was getting bit on my arms, my legs. You're putting the quilt over you so you're not going to get bit on your body. But it's cold at night, but you're waking up sweating your tits off. It's weird. It's a weird climate they've got here at the moment. And it needs to fucking decide what it's doing. So, we've got 1 more night here tonight. Today's our last full day. I've been up since 2:30. I don't know what I'm going to do today, but I think the batteries are going to start going at about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm going to have to get some stuff done in the morning with the kids. I wouldn't say it's been a disaster, but I'm not fucking coming back here. And to think I left sushi, where I've done every podcast in Japan. I have left 32 to 36 degree heat. It's sunny. I've got a beach, I've got the sea, I've got my kayaks, my bikes, to come here to Belgium in the rain and the fucking cold. But the mosquitoes, everything is shit about this climate. You're getting piss wet through. You're having to wear a fleece. It's August. And I'm getting fucking bit by mosquitoes and getting woken up between 2 and 5 in the morning. I haven't had a decent night's sleep since I've been here. The first few days, the jet lag were fucking with me. Get to Belgium, the mosquitoes are fucking with me. And I cannot believe these words are coming out of my mouth. I will be glad to get back to Bradford in the next couple of days, because hopefully I can get a decent night's sleep. Hopefully I'm not going to have any swellings on my body. But I think I'll be happy to get back to Bradford. Can't believe I'm saying that. Can't believe I'm saying that. Yeah. So one more day in this rainy place. But saying that I've forgotten how to travel, I think when I said that, maybe the kids have forgotten how to travel because they're doing their own thing. And what I've realized is it does not, I'm just trying to find, what the weather's going to do today. It does not matter where you go, where we take them in the world. If you find them a swimming pool, they're going to be fine. And we found them a swimming pool with slides, and we're like a water park / swimming pool. So I've taken them there 2 days that we've been here, and they've loved it. And that goes for the Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam. If the place has got a swimming pool, the kids are sorted. So that's what I would recommend to those young people, not young people, people with young kids when you go on holiday. Just make sure the place has got a swimming pool. I've not booked the hotels in Singapore yet, but I'm going to make sure that we've got a swimming pool, because you can just throw your kids in the swimming pool and they'll be as happy as Larry. And that has gone for Belgium as well. So if there's one thing that I am going to take from this whole trip, is swimming pools. They are a godsend if you're going on holiday with your kids. Now, I've just got the weather up, so you can see it's 6 o'clock now. It's going to be pissing it down between 9 o'clock and 11. It's going to be cloudy, and then the sun is going to come out around 4 p.m. But it's only the high is going to be 18 for fucking August, for Christ's sake. And then tomorrow when we leave, 14, 15, fucking shite weather. So I will be back in Bradford in the next few days. Then I'll be off to the United Arab Emirates, where hopefully it's going to be above fucking 13 degrees. It could be about 40, 45 out there. So the kids will tick off country number 20 in the United Arab Emirates, and then I meet up with the boss of the family, the mother of my children, my wife, in Singapore, and then we go out on a family holiday. See how we get on there. And I probably, where we go in Singapore and Indonesia, I'm probably going to get a bit less in that country than I've done in this fucking one. But short podcast today. Thank you very much for listening. Hopefully this trip's going to get a lot better. Hopefully the swelling on my eye will have gone down by the time I get back to the UK. Jesus Christ. Should have seen it this morning. It were a lot worse. And I will report back to you from the UK. So I know I've had a couple of weeks off, but that's why I've been traveling. So I will see you all later. Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. Keep subscribing. Share it with your friends. Adios, amigos. Goodbye.